Hello everyone, this is James with VG Legends. That stands for Video Gaming Legends. Now remember, I'm not a legend at all. I'm just a regular guy who loves and is very passionate about video games. Guys, today we are doing a video on the games I've beaten so far in 2023. Now, it's not that many. I've played a lot of games. I've played a lot more games, but I haven't beaten them all. These are just the ones I've beaten so far this year. And also give my thoughts on them as well. Maybe I can recommend them to you. I love doing that, guys. I love talking about video games. Now let's talk about talking in the comment section and leaving comments in the comment section, because whoever does in this video will have a chance to win either Tears of the Kingdom, which just came out, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, or their choice of that on the Nintendo Switch, or Final Fantasy 16. If you leave a comment on this video, if you like it, and if you are subscribed, I will announce in the next video who that winner was and what they chose. I will message that winner on VG_Legends, though, guys. This is how you know if you always win. With these giveaways, message me at VG_Legends. That's my Twitter account. When I announce, or I will message you, and you let me know your information so I can mail this stuff out to you, and I will purchase them one of those games. And also, we made 2 videos back-to-back, guys, on the same day. So we were giving away a GeForce 710 graphics card from the previous video. I will announce that in the next video as well. But don't worry, the winner of that previous video, this video would have already came out, so I will know the comments of that video, so I will pick a winner for that and message them. That will already be sent out to them. I'm just letting you know I'm going to announce that in the next video. So, guys, let's not waste any more time. Let's get to the games that I beat in 2023. Let's talk about them. Let's do this. Now, the first game I actually beat in 2023 was HiFi Rush. I don't have a physical version because I played it on Game Pass. Now, this was a game that was announced in January at one of Xbox's showcases, Microsoft showcases. And it was actually a blind drop because it actually came out that day. I don't remember when it was. It was like January 25th or something like that. But it was very well received by gaming fans and critics across the board in gaming. And it's a very fun game. It's a rhythm action-based game. Now, you play as this character, Chai, and what happens is he accidentally has cybernetic surgery by this corporation. But these corporations, they're actually bad people, and they're trying to actually take over the whole area, all these different areas of the game. And Chai actually tries to take them on. He wants to be a rock star. So, obviously, a rhythm action-based game. You actually use a guitar as a weapon that he has. And because he had this cybernetic surgery, his heart is made out of his music player now. So you constantly hear a musical beat that goes along with the whole entire game. And that's where the rhythm comes in. When you're doing your actual combat, you have to defeat these enemies by keeping the rhythm. The better rhythm you keep, the better you'll be able to control and do these crazy moves by Chai. And you actually can go into this hub area and buy these different moves when you get different resources out in the world when you do these missions. He actually plays with a team of players as well, so there's different characters involved. The graphics are amazing. It's like this comic book style, and as you can see here, the graphics go from the cinematic scenes to the actual gameplay. It's exactly the same. I loved this game, and I think it's a really well done game by Tingle Studios. I would recommend that this is actually a buy. If you're a collector, you want the physical, I'm going to actually get the physical version now that I think about it, because it definitely is a must play and probably a must own if you're a collector. So that's HiFi Rush. The next game I beat this year is Resident Evil 4 Remake. Now, I have a copy here on the PS5. I actually have it on the Series X as well. I don't have that copy with me. I first played it on the Series X, and I also want to play... I first beat it on the Series X, and I want to play through that game again, too, on Legendary. And I started playing it through it on the PS5. I haven't beaten on the PS5. The only difference between the two consoles, or that I've found so far, is the controls just seem to be a little bit more responsive on the PS5. They just seem to be a little bit more tighter, a little bit more clean, a little better. So if you have both consoles and you're going to pick up this game, I would recommend getting the PS5 version for sure. I actually beat Resident Evil 4, the original, on hype leading up to this game because I was really excited about this game coming out. So I beat that game again. I beat it on the PS2. I don't have a copy of that with me as well. But I'll always like the original better. I don't know what it is, the nostalgia factor. It's in my top 5 favorite video games of all time. And I actually just did an unboxing video about a month and a half ago of me getting the GameStop Resident Evil 4 version, special edition version for the GameCube. So check that video out as well. I'll leave that in the video description below. But the original, there's something that just holds near and dear to my heart. I know a lot of people have a problem with these remakes only because with 2, 3, and 4, because Capcom seems to cut out a lot of things that they don't think is necessary. For example, with Resident Evil 4, the original, there's the U3 boss when you're in those actual those cable cars that are falling. That boss fight is awesome. I wish they would have had that in this game. And some of the boss fights in this game too are a little bit less challenging than that one. And also, you have the laser room where Leon went through in the first game, the time action play, which they could have added, the throne room, things of that nature that they cut. But it was cool. When you get to the lake scene in this game, there's a little bit more open areas where you can find different resources and find different things. And the Easter eggs in this game are awesome. The graphics are clean, they're incredible. The action in this game, the gameplay is just incredible. Where Leon holds his gun like this, he looks like John Wick when he's up close and personal to enemies. Just fighting a lot of hordes of enemies, a lot of the villagers, and doing spin kicks still, doing those suplexes, all those different things. The only thing I would say is the downfall is the Sadler boss at the end. A little bit underwhelming compared to the original, a little bit less challenging. But other than that, this is definitely, I think, the best remake that Capcom has done for these Resident Evil games so far. Please come out with Resident Evil 5 next, Capcom. Come out with Resident Evil 5, please. Alright, let's move on to the next game. The next game that I beat this year is Bayonetta Origins, Cereza, and The Lost Demon. And I'm going to throw this out there right now, guys. So far, of the games I beat this year, new games that have come out, my game of the year. This game is incredible. Made by Platinum Games, Sega, published by Nintendo. I played through the Bayonetta games, the original one, and the second one at the end of 2022. And I'm playing through Bayonetta 3 as well. I haven't beat that one yet because I went to this one and then I got lost in this one. Could not put it down. Took me about 15 hours to beat. Now, I'll tell you right now, the graphic art style of this game is absolutely beautiful. On the OLED Switch, it looks gorgeous. It's kind of like a painted graphic art style. It's like hand-drawn, painted. And Cereza, obviously, is an origin story. So she's younger. She's just learning about her powers. So she gets lost in this forest, and you have to traverse through this forest, and she has her stuffed animal, Cheshire. Now, Cheshire is actually possessed by a demon. So you can actually summon Cheshire at any point in the time when you're fighting these enemies in the forest. Now, these enemies are fairies. Now, you have to follow this wolf, this wolf leaves tracks, and this is how you kind of try to make your way out of the forest and to get to the end of the game. Now, it is awesome. The combat in this game is incredible. The way they do it is you actually use your right Joy-Con for all of Cheshire's moves, and you use your left Joy-Con for all of Cereza's moves. So it's almost like you're playing a co-op game by yourself when you're doing combat and fighting these fairies. There's sometimes points in the game where you cannot progress until you defeat these dungeon-like areas. You have to go in these dungeon-like areas called Tagonauts. And what's cool about those areas is sometimes you have to fight harder enemies, but there's also puzzles. So then when there's a lot of puzzles during those parts, so then using those different Joy-Cons with the different two characters come into play, and you have to work together with Cheshire and with Cereza. Now, remember I said Cereza's just learning her powers, but Cheshire gets a lot of different abilities. So when you get to little safe areas, you can actually use different flowers that you collect in the game. Red flowers are for Cereza's upgrades, and white flowers are for Cheshire's. And once you get a lot of them, you can get different moves for Cheshire, and he gets different abilities. Like you get, throughout the game at different points, you get a fire ability, and you get an ice ability, and you get I think it's like a spike / tree-like ability, where you can do different movesets to be able to utilize to get farther in the game. There's some sections where you have to find treasure chests that you can't get to unless you have Cheshire's different abilities. Just an amazing game, guys. I gotta say, story, I never give anything a 10 because nothing is perfect in this world. But I would give this a 9.9 across the board in terms of graphic style, gameplay, story, everything. This is one of definitely the best games that I have played on the Nintendo Switch, for sure. I highly recommend this game. And if you like the Bayonetta series, it's a lot different than the original Bayonetta games. This is the best one in the series, guys. Definitely. On to the next game. Cheshire, over here. I also beat Smelter this year, guys, and you guys might not know what this game is. This game is incredible. Now, I found this on a Hidden Gems video somewhere on YouTube. I can't remember what, he's a smaller YouTuber. I'll have to find what his name is, because I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but I'll leave it in the video description below, but of his channel, because he does awesome Hidden Gems videos for the Switch, and that's how I found this game. So I picked it up on the eShop for it was on sale for like $11. But I loved it so much, and I got lost in it. Like I said, I get lost in these games, and if I can't put them down, I had to get the physical version. Now, I love this cover art on this game. Just look at that. It looks great. Now, Smelter is like this creature, and what happens is, in the story, he gets attached to Eve. This is actually the story of Adam and Eve. Now, they eat the forbidden fruit, and this big explosion, something happens, this big explosion goes off, and Eve goes off and gets ported to this different kind of world, and Adam is lost. So she's trying to find him. She comes in contact with this creature, Smelter. What Smelter does is he's able to give her different abilities and different powers so she can traverse through this land, this weird land, and beat all these different enemies that are trying to take over the land. Now, what's great about this game is this is a hybrid. So you have a 2D action platformer as well as city building, and also top-down areas as well. Basically, this game is like ActRaiser for the Super Nintendo and Mega Man X, I would compare it to, on steroids. This game is awesome. So, as you can see from the video footage here, when you're doing the city building, you use Smelter to defeat enemies when they're coming at different areas. You can create different things like homes for your Zerms. That's what they're called. They're these beings, these Zerms that protect your areas in the city building aspect of the game. And also you can create things like apple orchards, which you need a bunch of those to feed your Zerms for them to be able to survive in their homes. And then you can actually create fortresses so they can actually defend areas, and there's soldiers that actually defend the areas as well. But once you get to specific areas, you actually have to go down in those areas where you go to the 2D action scenes with Eve, and you side scroll through the missions, and they have time missions in those areas. You fight different enemies in those areas. You fight epic boss battles. The graphics are awesome. The abilities that she has, the different abilities that you can choose from once you get farther in the game that she has for her arson is awesome. It is a really good game, and I would recommend owning it and playing it definitely on the Nintendo Switch. Also, one of the best games I've ever played on the console as well. That's Smelter. So, I really got back into the Halo franchise. Actually, my 3-year-old son has been playing a lot with my Halo toys. He's been playing with my Warthog and like my my Master Chief toys and my Nerf gun AR rifles. So I've been like Nerf blasters. So I've been getting back into Halo. But anyways, the 3rd season of Halo multiplayer for Halo Infinite came out. So I thought I'd run through some of the older games. So I had played halfway through Halo 4 mid last year, and I hadn't beat it. So And I was playing it on Legendary, so it was really hard. So I was dying a lot of times. Because I know in this game, if you beat it on Legendary, and I didn't beat this game on Legendary, I beat it on Heroic, but I'm going to go back and play it on Legendary. You get an extra cutscene, but the story's kind of lackluster in this game anyway. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Halo 4, it's actually one of my favorites in the franchise. The story is actually really good. I like it. I like the concept of Cortana. I'm not going to talk about the whole lore of Halo. I know it, and I actually have a book on Halo. Halo is one of my favorite video game franchises of all time. But if I was going to sit here and try to make you understand the lore of Halo, you would get so lost. You wouldn't understand it, and we'd be sitting here for like a year. So, basically, Cortana, which is Master Chief's AI that's with him, she's kind of decomposing. They're only built to last for 7 years, so she's decomposing. So when he finds her, she's like going all haywire, and she's basically dying. So you got to defeat this enemy at the end called the Didact, and what he is he's a Forerunner. So the Forerunners are the ultimate sentient beings that created all the life in the universe from the beginning of time. And there's actually one of them left. He's called the Didact, and you have to beat him at the end. The only thing I like the concept of you fighting the robotic sentient beings, which are actually called the Prometheans. So you first are introduced to them in this game. They're really hard though. There's some of those enemies that are super, super hard. And I died so many times. There was times I had to put it down. But I love Halo. The gameplay of Halo 4 is really good. The story's epic. There's actually one cool scene I'll show you here. If you see from the video game footage here, there's a part towards the end of the game where you actually fly in one of the Pelicans, which I think is really cool when you're coming up to the end before you fight the Didact. The only thing I didn't like at the end, it would have been way more epic if Master Chief actually had a scene. If it's a cinematic scene, but you don't really fight the Didact. He just basically, Cortana multiplies herself, she's decomposing, so she's going all haywire, and she holds him down, and then like you push him over the edge. You don't actually have a battle with him. That would have made this game in my top 3 Halo games of all time, but because of that, you don't actually do an ending boss battle. That's the only thing I didn't like about it. But one of my favorite Halo games of all time. Definitely a good story. The gameplay is awesome, and it's just, you don't get better than an FPS game than with Halo. Halo 5, the story is so convoluted. I can't even talk about the story in this game because it's really, really crazy. It's up and down. It's all over the place. So I'm not even going to talk about the story. It's actually bad. And you don't play as Master Chief the whole time, which I know a lot of fans don't like, and I don't like it too. I think the strong points, obviously, of this game are the multiplayer, which I actually played some of the matches, and I think a lot of people and a lot of Halo fans want to bring back a lot of those action time kill scenes, the cinematic kill scenes that you have in the Halo multiplayer. Actually, you trade a death for a death is basically what it comes down to. But the gameplay, I think the strong points of this game is the gameplay. It was made on the Xbox One, so the graphics are really good, and the gameplay in the campaign is really good. It's just the story's really lackluster, so I didn't like it as much as this game, or as much as any of the other Halo games, but it's a Halo game, and it's still Halo 5 Guardians, still a fun game to play. So that's Halo 4 and Halo 5 that I've beat this year as well. Alright guys, that's the end of this video. Now remember, when I choose a winner for the next video, I will message you on Twitter of somebody who leaves a comment in this video of what are some of the games you beat in 2023. You'll either have your choice. I will buy you a copy of Tears of the Kingdom on the Nintendo Switch Zelda, or Final Fantasy 16 when it comes out. This video might drop before that game comes out, but if you still want it, I can pre-order it and I'll send it out to you as well. Also, like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. It helps out the channel. Whatever it is that you do that is involved in gaming in your life, guys, always keep it legendary. We'll see you for the next one. Peace out. Just here, over here.